You know that feeling. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, your phone is already in your hand. You scroll. You check messages. You remember everything you have to do. You feel the weight of expectations, the noise of opinions, the endless loop of other people's emergencies. And by noon, you are already exhausted. Not physically, but spiritually. You are everywhere. And yet, you are nowhere. You are talking to everyone. And yet, you have not heard your own voice in years. What if I told you that the fastest way to rebuild your life is not to add more? What if the fastest way to find your direction, your energy, and your unshakable calm is to simply disappear? Not forever, not dramatically, just for 30 days of stepping back, 30 days of cutting the noise, 30 days of rebuilding yourself in the quiet. The ancient Stoics knew this secret long before the internet, long before hustle culture, long before we were all drowning in notifications. They called it the retreat. And when they did it, something profound happened. They did not just return to their lives. They returned to their lives as entirely different people. Today I am going to show you exactly what happens when you disappear for 30 days. Not in theory, in reality. I will break down the psychological shifts, the Stoic principles that make it work, and the exact framework you can use to do it without ruining your job, your relationships, or your sanity. By the end of this video, you will understand why the most powerful people in history did not chase the world. They stepped away from it, and you will know exactly how to do the same. Let us begin. We live in an age of constant exposure. You are expected to be always available, always responsive, always performing, always reacting. Your attention is sold to the highest bidder. Your time is chopped into fragments. Your energy is drained by conversations that go nowhere, by opinions that do not matter, by an endless scroll that leaves you feeling emptier than before. And the worst part? We have been conditioned to believe that this is normal, that if you are not exhausted, you are not working hard enough, that if you are not constantly connected, you are falling behind. The Stoics would call this madness. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, ruled over millions. He had wars to fight, plagues to manage, an empire to hold together. And yet he regularly withdrew. He wrote his private journal, the Meditations, not in a palace surrounded by advisors, but in military camps, in quiet corners, in moments of deliberate solitude. He understood a brutal truth. You cannot lead your life if you are constantly drowning in other people's noise. Seneca, one of the wealthiest and most connected men in Rome, wrote letters about the necessity of retreat. He said, "We must indulge the mind and from time to time let it have its leisure. This leisure is not idleness. It is the time when the soul rebuilds itself." Epictetus, who had nothing but his own mind, taught that freedom begins the moment you stop outsourcing your attention to the crowd. They did not disappear to escape life. They disappeared to reclaim it. And when you do it for 30 days, here is exactly what happens. Days 1 to 7. The withdrawal the first week is not peaceful. It is brutal. When you first step back, your nervous system goes into withdrawal. You will reach for your phone out of habit. You will feel the itch to check what people are saying. You will feel guilty for not responding immediately. You will feel bored, restless, almost anxious. This is not a sign that you are doing it wrong. This is a sign that you are finally doing it right. Your brain has been trained to crave constant stimulation. Dopamine hits from notifications, from drama, from other people's opinions. When you cut it off, your mind screams for the fix. But here is where the Stoic discipline kicks in. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are constantly reacting to external noise, your soul becomes fractured. During these first 7 days, you will notice something shift. The noise fades. The frantic pace slows. You start to hear your own breathing again. You start to notice that most of the emergencies you thought you had to handle were just illusions. You begin to separate what is actually urgent from what is merely loud. This is the first transformation. Clarity begins to replace confusion, not because you learned something new, but because you stopped drowning in what was unnecessary. Days 8 to 21. The reconstruction. By the second and third week, something remarkable happens. The quiet stops feeling empty. It starts feeling powerful. Without the constant interruption of other people's agendas, you finally have space to build your own. You start waking up with intention. You start moving your body, not because you feel guilty, but because it feels good. You start reading, writing, thinking, planning. Not for an audience, for yourself. The Stoics called this prosouche, relentless attention. Attention to your own mind. Attention to your own actions. Attention to the present moment. When you disappear, you are forced to sit with yourself. And at first, that is uncomfortable. But soon it becomes your greatest advantage. You start to rebuild habits that actually serve you. You stop reacting to every email, every message, every invitation. You start choosing. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." In these 2 weeks, you stop wasting it. You start living it. You will notice your energy returning. Not the fake, caffeine-fueled energy of modern hustle culture. The deep, steady energy of a mind that is no longer at war with itself. You will notice your confidence growing, not because you posted more, talked more, or proved yourself to anyone, but because you finally kept a promise to yourself. You showed up. You stayed quiet. You did the work. You will also notice your relationships shifting, not because you pushed people away, but because you stopped forcing connections that were draining you. You will naturally drift from the people who only want your attention, and you will naturally gravitate toward the people who respect your presence. This is the second transformation. Self-trust replaces self-doubt. You realize that you do not need the world's validation to know your own worth. You just need your own consistency. Days 22 to 30. The return. By the final week, you are no longer the same person who started this journey. The person who disappears for 30 days does not come back looking for attention. They come back with boundaries. They come back with focus. They come back with a quiet, unshakable presence that people cannot ignore. You will notice that people treat you differently, not because you announced your retreat, but because your energy has changed. You no longer react to every slight. You no longer chase every opportunity. You no longer apologize for taking up space. You have reclaimed your attention, and attention is power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." When you return from your 30 days, you finally realize this, not as a quote, as a lived truth. You start saying no without guilt. You start working without distraction. You start listening without waiting for your turn to speak. You start leading without needing to prove yourself. You will also notice that your output changes. You do not do more. You do better. Because your mind is no longer fragmented. You can hold one thought at a time. You can see one problem clearly. You can execute one task with precision. The quality of your work, your conversations, your decisions all rise, not because you are trying harder, but because you are no longer leaking energy. This is the third transformation. Quiet authority replaces loud desperation. You no longer need to shout to be heard. Your presence speaks for you how to actually do it. The Stoic framework. Now, I know what you are thinking. This sounds great, but I have a job, I have family, I have responsibilities. I cannot just vanish. You do not need to vanish. You need to withdraw strategically. The Stoic retreat is not about abandoning your life. It is about protecting it. Here is how you do it in the modern world. First, you cut the digital noise. Not completely, but ruthlessly. Turn off non-essential notifications. Delete apps that drain you. Set 2 specific times a day to check messages. The rest of the day, your phone is a tool, not a leash. Second, you schedule silence, 1 hour a day. No input, no podcasts, no music. Just you, a journal, and your thoughts. Write down what matters. what does not, what you will do tomorrow. This is your modern meditations. Third, you protect your physical energy. The Stoics knew that the mind cannot be clear if the body is neglected. Move daily. Lift something heavy. Walk outside. Sleep like it is your job. Your nervous system will reset faster than you think. Fourth, you say no to everything that is not essential. Not with drama, not with excuses. Just quietly. If it does not align with your direction, your health, or your peace, it does not get your time. Fifth, you stop explaining yourself. The moment you disappear for 30 days, people will notice. Some will ask questions. Some will get uncomfortable. You do not owe them a debate. You simply say, I am focusing on some personal priorities right now. I will reconnect when I can. And then you keep your focus. This is not selfishness. This is survival. This is strategy. The Stoics did not withdraw to hide. They withdrew to sharpen. A sword left in the sheath too long grows dull. A mind left in the crowd too long grows fractured. You are not running away. You are rebuilding. The final truth: when you disappear for 30 days, you will not lose your life. You will find it. You will lose the noise. You will find your voice. You will lose the drama. You will find your peace. You will lose the need for validation. You will find your self-respect. You will lose the exhaustion. You will find your energy. This is not a trend. This is not a hack. This is an ancient human truth that modern society has forgotten. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lead your life while constantly reacting to everyone else's. The Stoics knew that true power is not loud. It is quiet, it is steady, it is unshakable. And it is built in the dark, in the silence, in the moments when no one is watching. So here is my challenge to you. Pick a date. Mark it on your calendar. 30 days from today, you will not be the same person. You will step back. You will cut the noise. You will rebuild your habits. You will protect your attention. You will sit with yourself until the fear turns into clarity. And when you return, you will not announce it. You will not post about it. You will simply live it. Because the person who disappears to rebuild themselves does not need to tell the world what happened. The world will feel it. As Seneca said, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. I would add, it is not the man who stays in the crowd that is lost. It is the man who never learns to stand alone, disappear, rebuild, return unrecognizable to your old self. If this video resonated with you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message.